Oh, wow. I guess I can't get to that one. Okay. Okay. While I'm be waiting. For those of you who want to join me for this conversation this afternoon, oh, this is not easy, y'all. This is not easy. Trying to bring awareness to our young people out here, young women out here anyway, women from 25 to 35, I would say. Like I said, 35 today is not like 35 in my mother's time, 35 in my time, or anything. The mindset of people have changed, and, people don't think with any kind of discernment or any kind of good insight on knowing certain things because it's not being taught like it was taught many times before from many generations of protecting ourselves as women. They don't even try to teach that in the church anymore, and that's why I'm really blaming the church right now for um, a lot of things taking place today with women and domestic violence, and also women that are being unalived by their spouses and boyfriends, and also baby so-called daddies. Things people don't think as much as they should about their life and how they trust people, and especially when families don't take the time out to ask questions when their daughters are dating. Fathers need to get back involved with their daughters. They need to reconcile with their children. Even if you're not in the same household, even if you were not a planned, you know, pregnancy or whatever, that you laid down with a woman and you did have a life with her. You did something, and there's consequences when we do things, and we should live up to those consequences. We should never just allow it to come to a point where it gets a certain age and now we stop caring. We are supposed to stay connected to our children. When we bring them in the world, we want to teach them as much as we can while we here, so their life can go on, and we want to see them have a good life. I spoke about this the other day, maybe even yesterday. I was very emotional to this morning just thinking about this story, and just by hearing some of the commentary from other people who have been sharing their opinion or their point of view to what happened to this young lady, Ashlee. This is not actually her, but, just a graphic of a young woman showing a wedding ring. But I'm just saying, like, if there was some more safety put in place of Ashlee traveling to a foreign country with her friend or her fiance, this boyfriend that the mother claims that she was in love with, the daughter seemed to be very happy with and was in love with him, and then the father didn't agree with that at all. If you was watching the conversation between the both of the parents as they will be being interviewed and asked questions, the father was very like, look, straight to the point. This man did something to my daughter. Dad already knows that this was some kind of fake engagement, fake relationship. And I think dad already tried to intervene, get involved at one time with his daughter and who she is out there with. Fathers are going to be concerned about their daughters. And this father, the way it looks like to me, Ashlee's dad, he seemed like he was the type of father that would question things and ask questions about certain things about what his daughter's doing, or probably they didn't even get along because he probably didn't agree with some of her life with her lifestyle. And like I said, children do that. They will play on the two parents. If they can't get their way with the mother, they'll try to get their way with the father. If they can't get their way with the father, they'll try to get their way with the mother. So it has to be the both of you that have to sit down and have a conversation with her lifestyle. The lifestyle that she was out there promoting. Though we don't want to say just because she had that type of lifestyle that it was right for this man to take her to Tanzania or Tanzania or to a foreign country and to unalive his daughter. That's what we need to look at. We ain't looking at the fact that she had a lifestyle. She was a high end person that went on these calls and these flights, and men will pay for it, and men will pay for her flights. Rich, wealthy men will fly her out to places like Paris and to maybe you know other European countries, or even to places to the Middle East or down to Africa. It's so much going on right now around her life and around the story of her life that you get it. We get it. And the most important thing that we want to talk about is getting her mother and father the justice, especially that they should deserve. um, Getting as much support that the community can possibly give to help them whatever expenses is going to cost for them to bring her from Tanzania to the United States of America. How much that body is going to cost for them to have it and examine it. All the stuff that has to be done before they get it back here to the United States. That's right now the most important thing. As far as what's needs to be more focused on. What her lifestyle was like while she was alive, that was the choices she made. She was living it to the very end of when it happened, what happened to her. It's so much, like I said, it's so many things that's moving around here. It's kind of hard to really understand where to go, where to start. It was a timeline of events that was given by a content creator, and she gave some of the details of when, from the time they arrived, some certain places that they did go, and how they fought a lot, how they argued a lot, how things were really not really as good as people saw it on the cameras or the camera. And I'm pretty sure whoever the cameraman is, Joe could have been, or it could have been Ashlee, because she had her own money too. So it could have been either Ashlee or it could have been Joe who paid for the cameraman. But if it was Joe, that cameraman is gone. He probably ain't gonna be found. If it was Joe, or even if it wasn't Joe, the cameraman who was doing, or the camera woman, the photographer that, or the video person that was doing, shooting the videos and doing the photography and everything else, that person ain't going to want their business interrupted and be a part of any crime and feel like they've been a part of any crime. So somehow or the other, you might get them and you might not. Never know. There's people out there that might have some kind of feelings about what happened to her and want to help. But then you got people that are selfish and they feel like if I stay silent, don't get involved, nothing will come my way or whatever. But somehow it's going to come your way. If you were there and you witnessed something, you should be able to tell so that it won't happen again to somebody other than just Ashlee. And I have a feeling this man got away with this before, of the kind of women that he seemed to groom that will feel safe with him, and he will be able to take them to these places in Africa and have a lot of business deals there with people that his money was able to get cover up the crimes that he has committed there. One commentator shared that he was there before, many times before. Also, that he knows a lot of people. And he had a friend out there with him, another man friend that is there. Also, the way the people are in this part of Africa, of Tanzania, that they take white people more as God to them, because more white people come out there to visit, to do their business deals, and also corruption, trafficking, sex trafficking. I'm going to just say sex trafficking, where these men will find these high end women, you would say, and bring them around this type of stuff, where they want them to perform freak offs and all types of things with them on in these places where they could just do whatever they want to you. And the way the story sounds, how the attendant found her and how he was told to go look for a charger for her, and then came back within 20 minutes, and she was hanging in the, and when he pushed the door open and opened the door, her body fell down to hit the floor a thump, and she was still struggling with trying to get herself loose from the belt or the rope that was hanging. They said it was a rope, then they said it was the rope belt, and it was some clothing, pieces of her clothing that was ripped material, and she used that as a way to make a rope to tie it to kill herself when she just sent the man 10 or so. I don't get it. It sounds like something happened more, and I think more people were involved in it. The whole thing was staged or set up in a way where it sounds like it could make it sound like she did try to harm herself. And even with the story about the attendant going to go get a so-called charger, how they were separated and moved to another room. She was still at the same place where she was, but he was not there. Sounds kind of weird. And he's 8 or 10 minutes away. So 8 or 10 minutes is not a long enough time to get inside of a hotel, another side of where your so-called hotel room or your villa is, or wherever you staying in, where you supposed to be 10 minutes away, and then somebody come back 10 minutes later and find somebody's body already, they're gone. And did anybody hear any screams? Did anybody hear any noise? Did anybody hear anything suspicious going on or whatever? Just like they could hear the noise when they were fighting. If somebody's in somebody's room and they came to harm them, or somebody's hotel and they in the hotel room and somebody came there to harm them, I don't think it will just take you 10 minutes. It will probably take a lot longer than that to harm someone. And even from what the coroner said, that something wasn't right. This medical examiner said something wasn't right about how they found her and the condition she was in. And then she was rushed to the hospital. She was rushed to urgent care, medical urgent care, whatever. And she died maybe a day or so later. How did she die a day or so later? Something just ain't sounding right here. So, me personally, this is what I'm thinking. And this is just only the way I'm thinking. she was already killed and they tried to move the body. She was already strangled and at that hotel, and they moved Joe out of the room during that time. I think it was already something already happened before the attendant came back. I think something was already done to her in that room. I don't think Joe was actually moved for that reason, for the fight. I think they moved Joe to cover up the crime. Because from this fighting, and then we understand that afterwards it was an unaliving. Okay, just in that time of period they were supposed to have been moved. How did he come back? Did he come back the next day or whatever? And it was 10 minutes later she was found dead, or she found hanging, or her body fell to the ground, and she was unresponsive, but she was still alive when they got her to the hospital. But she died a day or so later. Something just don't sound right about the timing of her death. The time that, this attendant went to go get this so-called charger for her plug-in to charge the phone, because from what I understand from when I watch the Fumi, the African woman channel, I watched her channel and everything, and she seems to give very good details. But what I understand from that timing for to get the charger, because chargers from certain places don't work the same. In other places, you got to get a charger that they use for their plugs or their outlets or whatever when they own foreign countries. I've never been in these countries, so I couldn't really give you that information. But what I can tell you is that I don't think that this is going away no time soon. I think there's still more things that are being uncovered about the timing of events and her death and what took place and who was involved. And I believe the police are involved. I believe the people that work there are involved. Just like I think about what happened with Shanquilla. Going to these foreign countries for luxury and a vacation and whatever, and not taking safety precaution because things go on that they keep under the rug. They try not to tell you so that it won't hurt tourists coming to these parts of the country for money. Another incident took place. Another young lady went on a trip to St. Martin or something, Virgin Islands, her and her sister for her birthday. I think her name was Delaney, something like that. And they met a guy. They was out having a good time with him, showing them courtesy and also making sure that while they were there, they were fine and they was having a good time. And he seemed like a good gentleman and everything. And then dropped them off at their hotel where they were staying. And from there, the sister didn't get out. She went with him to go finish hanging out and get to know him or whatever. And then end up they being in a car accident. She ended up being unalived in the car accident. Actually, it didn't turn out to be a car accident because somebody that the driver that knew them told them that it was somebody that came after this so-called man's life, and the sister was in the car, so she also was harmed as well. We don't know if she was shot or whatever, but we know that the details that was given to them when they went to find out what happened to the police on the place, the people who didn't treat them very nice. They rushed them out of there. They didn't show any kind of support, no kind of feelings or nothing about what these people were so distort, so concerned, and everything else. They in another country and somebody gets harmed or somebody loses their life. and especially a family member, you're going to want to know some questions. You want to ask some questions, and you want to know what's going on. And then when she gets, it was just a horrible way, the way they handled the whole situation, until they realized she was shot, and stuff started circulating over the internet, and it was getting around. So then all of a sudden they said they had somebody in custody, and the thing, they will be bringing this person to justice, whatever. And that's the same way I feel about Tanzania, that we should not let them get away with this. That an American woman went out there on a vacation with a boyfriend or fiance or her boy or whatever, and she ends up being unalive, mysteriously dying like that, and nobody has any answers to give to her family. Like, really tell her what really happened, just so that they can maintain a reputation, and that they can get the money that they look for their tourists that come into visit. The most people that go to these islands, and I'm going to be straight up and honest with you, they are wealthy businessmen that takes their trips to these third world countries at these resorts, where they will bring sex trafficking, find escorts, high end women, and use them for their freak offs. Okay? Most of these kind of men with money are abusive with power, abusive towards women, and then they go after women basically nobody gonna really care about. They'll go after a woman like, oh, she was a prostitute, or she was a call girl, or she was a 304, or whatever way they can feel that this woman will, nobody will take any interest in finding out about her being gone or her life being taken. Remember, everybody has a family. Everybody has someone who cares about them, even their next door neighbor. There's always somebody that cares about somebody in some kind of way. And they want to see that whoever harms them be brought to justice. She could have been a homeless woman sitting on the corner, just a crackhead, whatever, and her life meant something to somebody. Just like you feel your life is worthy, so was hers. So was anybody else. Nobody has a right to harm or take a person's life just because of their lifestyle. Go to jail, or go to a mental hospital to get some mental health treatment, or go into a program to be rehabilitated, whatever, but not to take somebody's life. I don't care what she was. She could be selling cootie cat on the corner, and some man she meet and he take her to a country and off her life. He needs to be brought to justice, because nobody has a right to lay down any woman or man's life or over whatever the reasons it was, money, whatever. And from what I understand, this guy sounds like a very sick person, because of the things you dig more and more about his story, about who he is, his marriage to another woman, how he left his wife during the time of her pregnancy, and also while she was on her pregnancy with their second child, and then on top of that, her mother's terminal illness. That was a very selfish person, a very evil person, a very mean person, and the money or whatever he had going on with himself probably was just a little bit, something that he didn't deserve. That's probably why God snatched it all away from him, and he's now with nothing but a name. I heard he lost about over $100 million. That may not be a that may be a lot of something something for a person. That's a lot for a person who just launched a business and became made money very quickly in his crypto currency. I don't get into all of that stuff. I worked in the market of banking and everything for many, many years. And I know whenever it comes to money, people could be very wicked, very evil, very disgusting, I mean, it's just when people make money like they make money, billions and millions and trillions of dollars, what else is there for them to do but go around and just harm people and make their money do it for them? I'm not into the money chasing world. I'm more into the soul saving world. I'm not things of the world of the flesh. I'm things of the world of the spirit. And I think what's most important to me is humanity. And that's basically what my channel is about. It's about humanity. The human heart, the human life is about those type of things. Some people, they on their channels just saying any old thing out of their mouth like this can't happen to them. It can happen to you in a second. You never know who the enemy is. So you be careful how you speak on this young lady's life, of what mistakes that she made and the things that she was blind to see. I heard these black men making it about a black man thing. Y'all just as wicked as the white man. And sometimes y'all just got too much going on. Nobody want to hear the crying slave or whatever stories all the time. Okay? People trying to move past that. People trying to move on. People don't want to have to use that all for the rest of their lifetime as an excuse for failure, as an excuse to harm people, as an excuse to hate people or whatever. Like I said, she could have dated a damn dog if she wanted to. I just say it. It still ain't right. It still don't make it right for what this man did. Point blank, period. It didn't make it right for what this man did. And the thing is that wouldn't make it right for the dog to do it. Okay? It wouldn't make it right. Unless she was trying to harm him. Which he probably come up with some shit like that. You know, just to get himself off the chain, off the hook, whatever. They probably trying to concoct something. So, just in case they drag his ass back here to the United States of America and held his ass accountable. Because he did take her out of the United States to plot a murder. That can be used in the jurisdiction of the United States of America. To order to get somebody back here and to prosecute them. They did it to this mother. I think it was either mother, daughter, somebody. I gotta go. Oh God, I'm just so messed up with my stories. But it did happen where somebody did take somebody out of the United States of America to kill them. And they ass was brought here to the United States of America and they ass was brought to justice. Okay? So it depends. The way the door is tricky. If she went out there to meet him, out there to plot with him and something happened, that's one thing. Or if it was accidental death, that's one thing. But somebody to take somebody and then get engaged to them, celebrate their birthday with them, and then all of a sudden, a day or so later, they dead and gone. And they going to come up with a story of suicide. And nobody heard anything of her trying to take her life. And from the photo shoots and everything else shows that she was having a wonderful time enjoying her birthday with the bed of roses, red and white roses of her name, Happy Birthday, Ashlee, and her feeding the giraffe, and her coming out there to feed the giraffe and everything, and her doing these poses and all these, you know, little, everything that she was doing. That would look that would look very hard to prove that she was out there to off her life, to really off her life. And then on top of that, her friends said, like she had friends that worked in her circle, people she knew from her circle, and people that have their concerns, and people that didn't know her that really ran with her in the lifestyle that they ran together in, was like, look, no, she wouldn't have done nothing like that. And then how they actually would say, no, we never had thought about, I never heard her even think about something like that. And I guess she tried to keep everybody informed as much as possible of where she was and what she was doing by doing the photos, by doing the photo shoots and posting it while she was there, because most of the places she traveled with her fake fiance, they took photos of what they were doing, places they were visiting, and things of that nature. It's not like she ain't never been out the country with him before. But another thing gonna look suspicious is because he took her to Tanzania. This is a partially banned African country from the United States of America, meaning that this is high alert for you. I don't know how Ashlee, she lived on looks. They don't, women that, if you notice, most women that are into their beauty and all of that outer appearance, they never dig that deep on information to find out about traveling to certain countries. They just happy to get it and do whatever they got to go out there to do to make that money. Okay? They're not concerned about reading on what's going on in sanctioned countries when they're traveling or looking for information, or maybe somebody did tell her. Maybe she, with all of this political stuff going on and everything, people that don't like President Trump, and President Trump giving you information out there to save you, whether you want to hear it or not. He been around the world too. He been around these business people. He know what they do. That's why they always coming for him about Epstein, because they don't want him probably telling on their asses what they've been doing in those Epstein Islands. And for me, islands like Dubai and places like Tanzania, the Zanzibar, and all those places, Epstein Island is not what you think is an island called Epstein. Epstein Island is foreign countries that do a lot of business, that also got a lot of crime behind the business, with sex, trafficking, children, drugs, you name it. Freak off parties at certain places, favors, little children, things of that is all that is Epstein. Epstein, wealthy business people that gather together and they commit these kind of crimes against women and children. Epstein Island could be Zanzibar. Epstein Islands could be Dubai. Epstein Island could be some other exotic place in Middle East, or another exotic place out in India or someplace. All of these third world places of the world. Even though Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, isn't really that much of a third world. It's an Arab world. And in that Arab world is a lot of crime against women and children. They got child marriages. People sell their daughters off to be married to wealthy businessmen. This stuff been going on since Christ been on this earth. Before he was even here on this earth. If you read some of the stories of some of the lives of some people, like the story of Esther, who became the next queen after they got rid of what's her name again? Tashi. They get rid of her because she wasn't going with the bang bang. Okay? She wasn't going to do what the man wanted her to do. She was thrown out and was replaced by Esther. This rich king, the king of Persia, who wanted to replace a new queen, went and found another young virgin that he can groom and train. So read the story of Esther. That's the story of the life of the rich and famous. That's the story of the life of these women that live the high end, and that's the story of some fathers that even that marry off their daughters to these high profile marriages, to these people in Dubai. They be having like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wives. Okay, that's why they always populating. The girl could be 15 years old and they will be ready to marry their 15 years old daughter to a wealthy 50-year-old man. Okay? This is known in those places of the world. Every place ain't alike America. They're not that developed. And they're not a Christian nation. Christianity teaches us more about dealing with things on spirit. Yep, Islam is effed up. You know what I'm saying? That's a dark world. That's a world where anything goes, and some things can't be brought to the light because if you do, it's going to cause death. Death becomes a. When you read the Bible, it gives you all of that stuff in the book. The Bible is the world compass. That's why some people denounce it because some people don't want to hear it. They think you being a lunatic. They think you being crazy. They think, oh, you know, the Bible is spiritual help to get you to open your spiritual eyes to see the danger of the world you living in, and you can feel it. These are young, beautiful women that's going missing every single second, day, minute, and hour because they want to live the life of the rich and famous. They feel this is going to give them comfort, security, protection. They'll never have to work. They don't have to carry no pain. They don't have to carry nothing in life. They just gonna live their life in comfort. But that's not the reality. Because behind every $1 billion that he spends or he spends on her, he owns her. Mm. Unless she came with her own money. Like money marries money. Like a power couple like that. But even those women, when they marry into money, they still commit wicked crimes along with the wicked spouse. Look at Jezebel and Ahab. Two evils together. Both of them were wicked. Jezebel came from money, from a culture, from a life. And so was Ahab, an evil ass king. And they got together and they did nothing but wickedness. Because they had that money to move, that they had that type of power to do those things together with their evil ways. And I'm not going to say that every rich person and every party who's rich is a part of this kind of lifestyle. There's some people just comfortably rich, could be, and that's very rare. Very rare. But the majority in that life are wicked. Love and money don't mix. Either you love one or you hate the other. Either you're going to love money and die for money, or you're going to listen, love richer or poorer, for better or for worse. But love and money don't mix. You can't have both. Either you're going to have money or you're going to have the true life with love and just happiness, just being just an ordinary person, an ordinary life or whatever. And you're not looking for all the extra. You just like waking up every day and doing your routines, or maybe getting up one day and calling somebody and saying, hi, how you doing? Or just walk to the supermarket, buy a few groceries, come home and cook a good meal for your home, or whatever. Some people just want the simple things in life, like myself. I don't want all of that. I could look glamorous. I could go to the Dollar Tree and find things to make my house look really beautiful, like I brought it in some luxury store, or make things, create things, and crafty things, or whatever. Or I could go right there to the Salvation Army and pick out a few things that I might find that looks, hey, I could rock that, and I could do this. I could pay $2 for it and still make it look like I paid over 2,000. Okay, it's just simple things in life to make you have. You don't really need the shebang, but there's just some people that just like to live that kind of life. I'm not much of a flyer. I don't care to be up in the air. I don't care to be on no airplane, especially, excuse me, especially for long hours traveling. Oh no, I can't take the. I'd rather take a bus. I'm serious. I would rather with travel. I had an aunt like that. She will not fly for nothing. You couldn't get her on a plane. She didn't even like taking trains. She only liked to travel by bus. My father's sister, she did not like planes or trains. She loved to travel either by car or bus. The reason she didn't like trains because she felt like trains could always like lose it. But cars get in accidents too. But she felt more safer just traveling. She likes the scenery. She liked to stop. She liked it to stop at the, little stop places on the bus ride and everything, and meet people and talk to people. That's the way she used to like to travel. She didn't like the airplane. She didn't like going to no airport. She just didn't like that traveling. I will travel by plane to get there quickly. But the way things are today, I don't care to be up in no air, especially no plane. I'm not the plane person right now. Planes right now, for me, is not one of the safest ways to travel. I'm just going to keep it real. If I ain't driving to go somewhere, or if I'm not taking the bus or the train, but the plane is off limits for me right now. I ain't even trying to leave the United States right now. That's how much I don't want to be in no other foreign country. I just got to make the best of my life here in the United States, and it's pretty good. Sorry that everybody can't get there with me, but I like it. But back to this story about my Ashlee Robinson, or AKA Ashlee Janea. I didn't like some of the conversations some people was having about her life, the things they want to put out, and all the negative stuff, and say the most negative things, like this can't happen, so what is she, and then making it all about being a black and white thing. I'm like this, it didn't matter. She was with a wealthy, no, person who made money overnight on some crypto and just lost his goddamn mind. Okay, somebody that wanted to use his money to do wickedness to women. And I'm sure she wasn't the first. That's where the investigation. A lot of girls going missing. How we know he wasn't the one that took them to the Zanzibar and off them after he finished using them for whatever time he used them for, and then had them silenced or moved around somewhere else. Maybe that's where his crypto is coming from. How his money is moving around on the market. You'd be surprised how some people making money out here and what businesses they run, like the Zanzibar man, a white man in Africa, making money off of those people. And these people treating him like a king. And when I think about how these people coming for President Trump, especially the way they act and these Democrats, that's the reason they want him out. He's hurting their businesses in foreign countries. And especially those businesses in those third world countries where they are doing things that are wicked. Because why else would they want to impeach him? And they keep talking about To me, Epstein this and Epstein that, where most of their names are on there. They all got something. I would say the wealthy ones, like the George Soros, that evil ass man. I really think they all a part of it. To be honest with you, the money, the more money, the billionaires in the United States of America all got some goddamn corrupt business going on in these places, like in Somalia. They building businesses over there. They using sex trafficking over there. They doing all kind of stuff over there. Okay, why else they up there talking about they letting all these criminals and foreigners in here, no guns, and trying to disarm people from protection and all of this unarmed police officer stuff. Why else would they want some rules and regulations not to protect our borders because they corrupt? That's the only thing that could go through my mind. They doing things, crimes against women and children, and they making business transactions on drugs and illegal activities. Okay, and the United States has been cracking down on it, and they don't like it. They don't like that the prompt president of the United States is like, look, this stuff gotta stop. Because yes, I got more than just me to think about when I'm going. I gotta think about my children. I got a granddaughter. I got granddaughters. I got small children, and I don't want none of them to be off with none of these people or get involved with this type of life of the rich and famous, that my daughters become this kind. I want them to have a regular order, normal lives, in healthy relationships with people or whatever. I don't want them to be turned out to be somebody's sex slave or whatever. I want them to have simple, normal lives. And to me, this man was wrapped up in a lot of corruption. The guy, Joe McCain, this is founder of asymmetric, whatever crypto business he was in. Yeah, his crypto business was the tails of the crap. He looked like he's involved in something that wasn't clean and good. And then another woman wrote to people and said, "Look, he's been he's I know him, and people might not think I know him, but this is the same creepy guy. He approached me, and I didn't like the approach. It made me feel uncomfortable. So what I did is I stayed away from him. And he was very aggressive, and he was very, like, he was that type of person who was very aggressive in his approach of what he wanted. And I don't know if Ashlee, he was like that with Ashlee. Only person knows is people that been around their company. Joe Button, this YouTuber, Joe Button, whatever his name is, claimed that the guy was a cool guy. He came out with Ashlee with him, and her and the dude and everything seemed to be getting along, and that Ashlee will call up, and he would call Ashlee to come out to be at certain events, and she sometimes would turn it down and say, I can't be there because me and my fiance, well, at that time, her boyfriend Joe, we going to do things this weekend with the kids. What kids? Because all his kids are under 4. And I doubt very much if his ex-wife trust him after what he did to her. Trust him around those kids. But like you say, the way the money moves around, when people got money, people could get away with doing all kind of wicked shit. But I doubt very much if the ex-wife even trust him to be around those children. Probably try to sell one of them off. Because people that just love money, they do anything wicked. They don't care who they hurt. They'll try to harm their own children. But with the moral story, you got to know the mindset of these people with money. Money is the root of all evil. And God said it himself. You can't love both. You can't love men and money. You're either going to choose one and hate the other. Me, I don't personally think Ashlee knew a lot. She didn't seem like a very well, the things that I used to see of her, it was more about beauty and, talk about things of her life a little bit, about her dating preference and everything else like that. I never really got all into all of that. That's her preference. That's who she want to be with. Those are the men she like to be around, whatever. Long as, but the thing is that I still look for people not to be harmed or to be killed or anything of that nature, or be lured to come into a foreign country and then they unalived there, being that they were just going to be silenced right there and nobody would have cared. And the thing I'm getting from mom is that mom feels a little some kind of way. Dad is not. Dad is probably like, this is what she get from you because this is what you did to my daughter. We don't know how the conversation going between them two, because mom look a little nervous and she seemed a little, like out of it, and like trying to still kind of like defend Joe in some kind of way, like he was really in love with her daughter and all this. And dad was like, no, I don't think so. Dad faces a look at the interview between the mother and the father when they being interviewed on this topic, and look at how the father reaction is to the mother's reaction. You gonna feel like mom is hiding something, but dad is like trying to say it straight up. This man was not in love with my daughter. This man knew exactly what he was gonna do. He's a man. The father's a man. So of course he gonna have that thinking like, I know this man was taking my daughter there to do something to her. Okay? And he probably had this conversation with his daughter plenty of times about her lifestyle on social media. He probably made comments to her and said things to her and then maybe upset her in some kind of way. Or she might have said some things, like children become rebellious and they sometimes mouth off with the parents, and the parents only just want to tell you they care and they concerned and they just don't want nobody to harm you and they trying to protect you. But sometimes kids get, they want to play this thing where they want to be rebellious for some whatever reason, maybe because she was close to the mother. And let's go to I'm gonna try to find you um a father and the father and the mother being interviewed on this thing. I'm going to try to find something on both of them talking so you can get the feeling like how dad is going to approach the conversation and how mom is going to approach the conversation. And mom is sitting there. Let me tell me my thing is down. It's still searching. It's telling me to search on my mobile phone. I can't do that right now. Okay, let's do this. I don't know why it's not searching. I like her name. It's so pretty. Let's try this. YouTube. Why is it so unable to connect? I'm having a problem right now, y'all. I'm having a problem right now. I don't know why I'm having this problem, but we're going to try to fix it. It's been 91 degrees today, y'all. Where I'm at, and it's usually not this hot around this time of the year, around this temperature. So I'm trying to stay as cool as possible. That's why I didn't want to get dressed up or anything. I just said, let me just put on some lipstick. Let me throw on a little um, shadow on my eyes, whatever. And not shadow, but mascara or whatever. You can see my mascara. I don't know. See it. I definitely can't wear lashes right now because it's going to jack me up. A fire stick. Okay. I can't wear that on my face right now because it's going to jack me up. Right now, my what you call it is down. So I can't really get to that video. Okay. I can't really get to it, but I'll probably come back later and do it. I don't know. But what I was trying to say is that Dad was basically showing more that he knew something was wrong and that this man was up to no good from day one. Mom was trying to make it sound more like they was in love and they really, she really knew him like a good guy or whatever. Maybe mom feel a certain kind of way. And you could tell mom is a little nervous. Mom seems a little scared. Dad seems like we gonna get this shit we want justice, okay? Because I know and it's funny because she looks like her father more than she looks. Her mom looks a little weird, but Dad looks like a good looking dude. He looks good. He's a good looking dude, and Ashley looks like her father, exactly like her father. If you seen the dad, you seen her. She looked like that man. That man can't even deny her as not being his child. She got the same everything. His head, his nose, everything is is her father. Everything. And I don't even know if she was that's definitely her dad. You can see it. She got his eyebrows, she got his nose, she got his mouth, she got everything. I looked at that man, I said, "Oh yeah, that's her father." She don't look like her mother. That's weird. She don't look nothing like mom though. She don't look like her mother. I don't see nothing in that woman that some daughters they could look like more like their mother, but it's kind of weird that the father and everything, and she do got other siblings, younger sisters and brothers. I think she was the oldest. That's the scary part. Don't tell me this thing. I think my system is down right now. Yep, it's been going like this all day today because of the weather. Xfinity, yeah, it's down again. That's what's happening. That's why I wasn't able. That's probably why I wasn't able to get on. Is down. Yeah, so anyway, let me get off of here. Work with this when this thing comes back up. We're gonna try to we're gonna try this thing again because my system is down right now, everybody. And the stuff that I wanted to, and I don't know if I could actually show it to you on my phone. I don't know if I could show it to you on my phone, the stuff that I wanted to show you. No, I cannot. I wish I was able to do it with my phone, but I'm not able to do it with my phone. Yeah, I'm having problems with my internet right now. Yep, because I see people coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay, so I don't know how it's affecting my phone though. It shouldn't be. It was down. It went down this morning. They've been over here working on this thing all day. It's the weather. It's the weather that's caused. Sometimes when it gets hot like this, the weather um messes up my internet. Oh boy, but my phone is working. So anyway, like I said, we're going to get back into this conversation, but the most recent update on her is, of course, we already talked that he's in custody, but I would love to jump for joy if they was to bring his ass back to the United States. Of the United States, it would bring me even more joy for them to bring him to the United States of the United States of America in handcuffs, and we see his ass going inside that jail cell, okay, or inside that courtroom or whatever, to be charged for her murder. That will make me even more glad, okay? I don't trust Tanzania for anything dealing with this investigation. I would rather the United States of America, more sophisticated standard on high profile criminals or high profile crime that was committed in another country to be brought to justice here in the United States. I would rather her case be trialed here in the United States as they build their case, because this has just happened. So of course, how it's going to take some time to put this investigation, the case, and everything together. But the thing is that while he's waiting, I would rather have him waiting in a jail cell right here in the United States of America, in the court system here, where we could see his ass sitting in a damn orange jumpsuit and being held without bond. And they could hold their people over there, but let's bring his ass over here to the United States of America and held his ass without bond. Because I'm sure she ain't the only woman that has this has happened to, because he got away with it before. And then the marriage, what he did to his wife. Oh, that part. It was said that he had his wife walk down the aisle without her father bringing her down the aisle. He wanted her to come to him alone. And once they hooked up, it was like you'll never be alone again. They need to bring that ex-wife in and let her tell some things about him, because I'm sure she knows something, or he probably paid her to keep her quiet or made some threats. You never know what he could have done to cover up his evil. I would like to see his ass in a damn orange jumpsuit on a plane back to the United States of America to go face his crime. Yeah, they just sent the what you call it that they, and then that's why I can't hear, like people who ring my doorbell, I can't see them on the TV because the internet is down. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna come back with y'all again later. Just hang in there with me, okay? So with that being said, hit the like button. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Try to stay as cool as you can be. If you are in a place where the climate is like it is here, it is hot out there. It's 90 something degrees, okay? And I ain't trying to go out there. Not right now. I can't take the heat. But I'll be back with you all as soon as my internet hits back up. Okay. God bless you. You all stay safe. Peace.